Rainbow Warrior here, bringing you a second crochet boot cuff design. And this design is great because it can be flipped to worn either way with either the lace edging at the top or the single crochet. So it has two uses. So I'm going to show you what to do, and this pattern is really simple, and you're going to have a few options here depending on your level. Be sure to pick what you're most comfortable with. I am using a size G crochet hook because I have loose tension with medium worsted weight yarn. Two ways to begin our boot cuff. One is to start a foundationless chain, which I'll show you how to do. If you've never done this step before, you may not be comfortable doing it, so I'll show you your second option in a second. So to do the foundationless chain, we're going to chain 3. And now we're going to work into our first chain that we made, closest to our slip knot. We're going to yarn over and pull through a loop. We're going to add one extra step in here. We're going to yarn over and pull through that first loop. So we're creating 2 chains here. Now we're yarning over and pulling through all 2 of our loops. And what this is doing is it's creating a chain on our top and on our bottom, a single crochet. And this way we'll be able to work onto whichever side we want. So let me get my camera to focus. This is the trickiest part, and that is we're going to work into that stitch we just made, that bottom stitch. So we're going to go into those 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through a loop. Yarn over, pull through the first loop. And now yarn over, pull through both loops. Go back into that loop, and it's really important that you pick up the 2 loops there. So that can be the trickiest part. So going back into that last stitch, making sure you go through 2 loops and not just the one. Yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through one, pulling through both. And the reason why I'm starting this way is not only because it gives us a nice edging at the top and the bottom, we can work on either side, but as well this is going to be a nice stretchy start to our boot cuff. Chaining is not super stretchy, depending on your tension, especially if you're very tight. It's not going to stretch, and you don't want your work to be really stiff. So if you start this way, you'll notice that this chain is nice and springy and stretchy. This can be a little bit complicated for beginners, and I don't want you to get frustrated with yourself if you can't do this step. So if you're having trouble, what you're going to do is you're going to simply chain the amount you need to wrap around your leg. Make sure you're not chaining very tight, and you're going to slip stitch and join that chain, and then you're going to perform a single crochet row and meet me back where I am, and then we're going to be on the same step. So it's basically the same thing, yours is just not going to be as stretchy. Alright, and we're going to need a total of stitches that is in a multiple of 3. So regardless of what you started with, whether it be the chain or the foundationless chain, you need a multiple of 3 number of stitches. I have 39 stitches for my boot cuff. As I'm slip stitching to join this chain, I'm making sure it's not twisted. Actually slip stitching twice as well, just to give it a really nice connection there, nice and solid. Now we're working our first row here. We're going to be single crocheting. If you want, you can mark your spot so you know when you came back around. And we're going through the front loop only here. It's very important that we go through the front loop only so that our work is nice and flexible. It gives us a nice rib, and going through the front loop will put the rib on the inside so that we don't see it. We just see our nice single crochet stitch, but our work isn't super stiff. Alright, here I am coming back around to the end of our first round. And I'm just going to work in each stitch around here. And I'm going to pass over the slip stitch. And now I'm starting my second round. And again, from here on out, I'm just going to place a single crochet in each stitch and not worry about joining, so I'm worked in a nice continual round. And there's just a little jog in one spot. If you decide to do the continual round, as you can see, there's going to be one little spiral section, and if that really bothers you, then of course you can decide to join your rounds rather than doing the continual round. Here I am back at the end of round 2, and I'm just going to place a single crochet in each stitch. So we're going to do a few rounds of single crocheting through the front loop only, and I'm doing 6 rows of my single crochet, but of course you can do as many as you want. You can do less than me or more than me, depending on the look you're going for. I have 6 rounds of my single crochet completed, and it looks like 7 just because of my beginning. And I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch to join off this single crochet nicely. And now I'm going to chain 3, and we're going to begin our open lace pattern. And this is why it's important to have worked in multiples of 3. So this is going to count as a stitch, and now we're going to yarn over and work a double crochet into the next stitch. Alright, now we're going to chain 1 and skip the next stitch and work 2 double crochets into those next stitches. Here's 1 and 2, and chaining 1. And we're repeating this all the way around, skipping a space, placing 1 double crochet, and a second double crochet, and chaining 1. And repeat this pattern all the way around. I'm at the end of my round, and I'm going to place my last pair of double crochet stitches. And now I'm chaining 1, and I'm going to slip stitch to join this round. Alright, so now it's time to work our second round of this pattern. We're going to slip stitch into the next chain 1 space. It's where we need to be. And now we're going to place 2 double crochet stitches in that chain 1 space. 1 and 2. Now chain 1 and place another 2 double crochet stitches in the next chain 1 space. And chain 1. And as you can see, this is creating an open work pattern. We're going to repeat this all the way around, and you're going to do this for as many rows as you wish. You can make this as short or as long as you want. Alright, a few options for when you get back around. In my first boot cuff, I worked a continual round, and there's just, again, one slight place in the boot cuff that you can notice a jog. So if you work a continual round, I kind of place 2 in that space there, and then from then on out I'm able to not chain or slip stitch and just work continually. But there's just going to be that one little area where you can tell there's a spiral. As you can see, it's right there. So that's what I did for my boot cuff I made right before this. And for this one, I decided I'm going to join each round just to see if I'm okay with the look of that. So that's what you would do to work in a continual round. If you want to join your round each time, you're going to slip stitch to your first set of double crochets, and then just like we did before, we're going to slip stitch into that chain 1 space so that we can start our second or our next round in our pattern and work our 2 double crochets into that chain 1 space. So hopefully I'm not confusing you with these options. I really just want to provide a few different choices because I know everyone has different preferences and ways that they like things to look, so I just like to provide them. Alright, and we're going to continue working this round. As you can see, I have 3 rounds going here until you're satisfied with the length of your boot cuff. I did this pattern for 6 rounds, as you can see here. And again, once you get to your end, you're going to slip stitch to join your boot cuff and fasten in your ends. And here's the completed boot cuff in navy. This is the one I originally created, and you could not see anything on camera, so I decided to do the tutorial in white. And again, what's great about this boot cuff is that you can wear it either way, so that the open work is at the top or that the crochet is at the top. So you have 2 uses for the boot cuff. And yeah, I'm really surprised how much I like this really simple look. If you would like to check out another really simple crochet boot cuff design, you can check out my other pattern here. I also have lots of knitting boot cuff designs as well. So be sure to subscribe for more tutorials. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed this pattern, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching.